Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, I'm going to show you how to trim and frame a window. I have gone through and trimmed almost all of the windows in the house that are going to be getting trimmed, but there's one that I've left to show you how to do. The trim style that I like to do on these windows is a simple casing and then a stile and rails. I think I'm using those terms properly. I think so. I don't know. I also like to make sure that the header is a little bit bigger than the base, so that, I don't know, it just gives it a little different look on the window. And then this same header will be continued through all of the doors throughout the rest of the house as well. Both of these two windows in this bedroom have been completed. These two that you just saw me standing at are completed. And one of the cutest darn windows in this entire house has been completed. This is in the little original master bathroom. I honestly want to call this Olivia's bathroom for some reason, mostly because I picture this being Olivia's bathroom. If we were to move in here, this would be her bedroom, this would be her bathroom. So I want to just call it Olivia's bathroom, even though it will never be her bathroom. That's what I'm gonna call it, Olivia's bathroom. This window was particularly difficult to do because of how long those pieces are. They're huge. I recommend 2 people for that. I've been able to do it with one, but the process would go so much simpler if I had a second set of hands. The sliding glass door has been trimmed out. I use the same method on the windows as well. The header is a 1x6, which actually ends up being a pretty much 5.5 by, I think this is 11/16. And then this is a 1x4, which ends up being a 3 and maybe 3 1/4, not quite, more like 3 3/16 by 11/16 as well. They're the same thickness, and I did that so that this will be smooth when that gets painted. This window has been finished all the way with sheetrock and bull nosing. The other windows that I trimmed didn't have any of this nosing on it because it does cost extra to have my sheetrock guy do this and make it look like this. But I had him do this window knowing I was going to trim it out, because if you're at home and say you're not doing new construction or anything like that, but you want to update the look of a window, you want to frame them out. Maybe some of them have that old tile that a lot of windows had, and you want to pop that off and make it look nice and new and clean again. You're going to be dealing with something in the same, I don't know, style and feeling as this. So what I like to do to start is take my 1x4, which I have, and I like to put a piece in there against that back piece and then see where this piece touches it. And we got really lucky on this window. The other windows I actually had to rip off a portion of this and shrink this down. But because it's got this nose on here, it's brought the window out just a little bit, so it's actually almost the exact dimension of my molding, within a 1/16 all the way around, which is more than enough to work with. So we're just going to start making our measurements. We'll measure the bottom, and then the top, then the sides, and get our frame in. Then we'll measure the outsides, then the bottom, and then the top. It's really, really simple. It goes really, really fast, which is why I've been able to do all of the rest of the windows just in one day today. We'll make this first measurement. And I like to always measure from my left, because if I do it like this, I'm reading the tape upside down. So I always try to measure sticking my little hook piece out to the left and then coming in here. This is 34 15/16. It is really critical that you keep track of what material you're using. This is my top material. I need to put that back on the ground. I need to pull out my 1x4 material so I know that I'm cutting the right piece. This is actually a piece that I cut thinking I was using that when I actually was cutting this. So I've made a mistake. I've made a couple mistakes. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Just know you're gonna have to replace it, maybe with a whole new board. These boards are about 15, 16 bucks a piece right now. They're about $1 a foot is the going rate. And that's a little high. It used to be a lot cheaper, but due to the increase in wood, things have gotten expensive, yada, 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 and nobody cares. Let's go to 34 15/16. I have this set on 34 15/16. And if you can't run a measuring tape in between 16ths or on the 16th, your finish work is not gonna look very good. Back in the day, I would have just said, oh, let's round up to 35 because that'll just look nicer. But I would have had to have wedged that board in there, and that would have been terrible. Or I would have said, let's go back down to 34 7/8, and then it would have had a gap. So I've learned that it's really critical to learn how to run a measuring tape. There are halves, quarters, eighths, and 16ths. And if you're real good, once you start working it, you'll actually start working in 30 seconds, which means you're going to split a 16th. We luckily don't have to split the 16th on this measurement, but there have been measurements on this trim work that I have had to split. Okay, with our board cut, we can set it in place. Make sure it seats in there really, really well. This looks really nice. There's nothing obstructing it. That looks really, really good. So we're ready to nail that. There's about 1/8 of an inch of the windowsill visible over here, and there's about maybe 3/8 to 1/4 of an inch over here. That obviously slopes, and I can't fix that in the sheetrock. It looks good, nobody would probably notice it, but once you start putting this trim in, you realize your sight lines real quickly. So I do want to bump that up with a shim, and I'll show you what I do. Super easy fix. Grab a couple of door shims, slide them underneath. Try to fill in that gap just a little bit. Bring it back down. We're not perfectly even, but we're a lot closer than we were. And I think those sight lines, nobody's really gonna see. So I would go ahead and nail that there. Now we do the same thing up top. Grab our measurement. This one is actually 34 and maybe 7/8, but I like to say 7/8 plus. And when I say 7/8 plus, that means I'm splitting that next 16th, which means there's a 32nd of a cut. I know that's a lot to think, but that just means at 7/8 of an inch, at 34 7/8, I'm just gonna go above that tick mark just a little bit. So I split it. So I said that measure is 34 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/8. But I said plus. So I want to split that just a little bit and go in between that. I don't even know if the camera can pick up that small of measurement, but your eyes can, and they'll visually see the difference. I know you can grab a ladder and drag that thing around, and I've done that in the past. It's kind of a pain. It's just not as easy to pick up, so I like to use a paint bucket. You know, you just pick it up a few times, you know what I'm saying? And stand on that guy, because it can move around a little easier, I feel like. Put our board in place. I am using a finish nailer. This is a 16 gauge brad nailer. These are 2.5 inch nails. These are deep, but to go through this, through a thing of sheetrock, and then hopefully up into a stud, I want it to seat really, really well. So 2.5 is what I use, that's what I like, and that's what I've always used pretty much. I did used to use a pneumatic nail gun, which was much cheaper to buy and a little cheaper to run, but I love that I haven't needed to drag a hose around or get an air compressor going all day today. I've had the radio going, I can hear it crystal clear, and just this one battery, and I still have a full battery, and I've done all the windows upstairs on this house. So this nail gun, although it was very expensive, has been worth every penny I paid, and I will link this in the description down below as well. The next measurement we want is this side. We're gonna say 33 7/16. I would say 33 7/16 plus. So again, I'm splitting the 16th. Now, some people think, okay, let's measure this side and then just duplicate it and put it on this side. You can't really do that because none of these are really square. And if you want those lines to be as tight as possible, so take your time, make it one cut at a time, you'll be happier with the outcome later on. It's less caulking that you have to fill, and it's less caulking lines that can split later on. 33 5/8. Now we're going to measure for the pieces that are going to go along here and here. But you have to overlap this seam. And you have to overlap this just a little bit because your two pieces are going to come together like so. So it leaves you with an even or somewhat even reveal at the bottom and at the top. So kind of quarter inside a corner. I just take my piece, kind of set it where I like it. Make a line right there. Set my reveal so it looks about even of the other side where I like it. And make a line. And now I do the same thing up here as well. So 33 and 15/16 is this one. So we'll start with that one. They won't be the same, so don't even try to do them the same, just do one at a time. Match our reveal all the way up, and then nail it. When you are nailing, you don't want to nail right here on the edge and try to nail into that, because there's a good chance you're gonna send that nail out. And then if you put it too close here on this corner, you're gonna go straight into sheetrock, so the nail's not holding on to anything. You wanna go kind of in the middle, because there, you know there's a stud coming up along this window. There should be a jack stud and a king stud, and somewhere along there, these nails are gonna sink into one of those. Every time I'm done, I grab the piece and kind of flex it a little bit to see if it moves. If it's moving, I'm not into anything solid. If it's solid like this, it's not coming off there. Try to match that same reveal. Line it up on both my lines. I put my tape on this end of the molding over there and come across to this end of the molding over there, and I get 40 and 11/16. All right, and with your last board, line it up smooth on each side. Take a measurement for the top. You guys, as simple as that, we have trimmed a window. I think that took maybe 25 minutes start to finish. So one stick of this 1x4 did this entire window, and then I needed a small piece of the 1x6. So total price on materials, I'm looking somewhere around $30. But that's $30 to dress up an old, dingy, grungy window. Maybe you've got broken pieces of sheetrock all along here. It covers all of that. You can't see it anymore, and it's a fresh new window. Just a little bit of caulking and paint, you're good to go. It's gonna bring a new life to the windows of your home if you've got an older home and you wanna do this in it. It's a really simple project. I recommend doing it, and I recommend doing it so that you learn how to use your chop saw and get better at it. Finish work is not a matter of what kind of materials you use, it's a matter of using your tools properly, like your chop saw and your nail guns, and I recommend you try doing it. You guys, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and if you're interested in any of the tools that I use, I will leave them in the links down below. Also, today's tasks are available for purchase for $35, which delivers it to your doorstep. Email mytodaystaks@gmail.com, and we'll give you the details on how to purchase one. Thanks guys, bye. Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. Straight. Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, I'm going to... So all of the bedrooms are done. Both of these. That one was not easy to do. So we are... Just filming. Nope. But it's going to look a lot better in the long run. So take your time. Make it one cut at a time. 33 and 1/8. Genius, Joel. Got a little overzealous, Joel. What I like